When the Galactic Council discovered Sol's humans, they assumed the primitive Deathworlders would slot neatly into the lower tiers of the Concord's hierarchy, useful for dangerous jobs, expendable when needed. After all, humans came from a Class 5 Deathworld, harsh but nothing compared to the nightmare planets the Council kept quarantined behind high-orbit interdiction grids. But it wasn't enough to trust reports. The Council's Science Directorate needed a demonstration, something to confirm humanity's so-called survivor status wasn't just propaganda. And so they devised an experiment. They called it the Exile Protocol. A volunteer unit of Terran Marines was dropped onto NX-12, a Class 0 Death world orbiting a dying red giant. NX-12 was so hostile the Council classified it for full biohazard quarantine, bone-crushing gravity shifts, carnivorous weather systems, native life that fed on neural activity, and toxic flora that bled acid mist when disturbed. No known species survived there for more than 72 hours. The Council's scientists predicted the Terrans would last 24, maybe 48, before begging for retrieval or dying in grisly ways. They weren't prepared for Captain Alara Quinn. The dropship's landing thrusters shrieked as they hit the jagged obsidian plain. Alara stepped out first, visor down, scanning. The air tasted like scorched metal through her filter. Lightning storms flickered across the purple sky, distant clouds boiling with bioluminescent spores. Behind her, Corporal Singh kicked the battered container they dropped with survival rations, basic shelter modules, and enough munitions for a single small siege. Captain, Singh muttered, eyes darting to a vast ridge crawling with black, crab-like predators, orders. Alara's eyes narrowed. The mission brief was clear, survive. No rescue, no backup, no extraction until the Council decided they'd made their point. She keyed her calm first order. Nobody dies for free. The squad built perimeter defenses from the dropship's hull scraps. They rationed ammo, conserved oxygen, learned to crack the crab creatures' shells for water and protein. When a sentient fungus tried to infiltrate their makeshift bunker, they torched it with improvised flame units made from the dropship's fuel lines. On Day 7, the Council's orbital observers noted the humans had established a base camp. On Day 14, they were expanding into the fungal forests, mapping predator nests for hunting raids. By Day 30, the observers stopped laughing. The Class 0 Death world didn't care who you were, it devoured anything it could. But it hadn't met humans before. When the acid mist burned their skin, they stitched new filter membranes from native vine resin. When the neural leeches latched onto them at night, they smeared their armor in alkaloid sap that sent the parasites into fatal seizures. When a cyclone of razor-sharp spores shredded their outpost on Day 41, Alara didn't curse the planet. She stood in the whipping winds, securing the few data cores they'd salvaged. "Captain, we can't hold out like this forever," Singh said, voice hoarse. Alara cracked a grin. Her cheeks were windburned, one eye swollen from an infection she'd cauterized herself. "Singh, the Council wants to break us. So we break their expectations instead." She didn't just mean surviving. She meant adapting. Humans were from Earth, a world that tried to kill them every day for millennia. They didn't just fight death worlds, they learned from them. By the third month, orbital drones recorded something unprecedented. The humans had tamed a local predator species. The crab things now prowled the camp's perimeter at night, driven off by pheromone traps if they got too close. Quinn's unit was harvesting fungal spores, purifying them into breathable antibiotics. Their makeshift armor was reinforced with chitin plating stripped from the local wildlife. When the Council's inspection shuttle finally landed, they expected to find half-mad, near-feral survivors. Instead, they found Captain Alara Quinn standing at the landing zone, chin lifted, boots planted on cracked obsidian. Behind her, a thriving encampment flickered with campfires and repurposed power cells scavenged from the crashed dropship. Singh and two others stood guard, clad in piecemeal bioarmor crafted from the world's apex predators. The lead Council scientist, a German named HFY, stepped forward, translator drone humming nervously. "Captain Quinn, we are pleased you survived." Alara's grin was sharp as broken glass. "Survived? Doctor, we didn't just survive. We learned how to make this hellhole work for us. Give us another few months and we'd start mining the ridge for heavy metals. Maybe build a permanent outpost." HFY blinked his translucent eyelids. "But it is a Class 0. You shouldn't be able to." Singh barked a laugh. "Next time, pick a nastier death world. Or just stop underestimating humans." In orbit, the Council's fleet officers watched the feed in stunned silence. The message was clear. You can exile a Deathworlder to the worst corner of the galaxy. but you can't break the one species that refuses to die quietly.